Welcome to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And we're honored to be here with Patty Eller, Director of Development with the Refuge Center for Counseling. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Jeremy. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk about mental health and so much more, but let's start with a little bit of background. Give us some history when you talk about the Refuge Center for Counseling. Give us some background.
Sure. The Refuge was started in 2005 by co-founders Amy Alexander, who is our current CEO, and Jen Gillette. And they saw a real need in Williamson County to help people who may not have the income or the resources to afford a really high quality mental health services. So they thought there was a need and a niche there. So they started Refuge back then in 2005.
It's a very unique model when you look at sliding scale and being able to make sure that everyone has access. And so dive into the model.
The model. Well, that, like I stated, Amy and Jen felt really strongly about having affordable, accessible, quality mental health care. So they decided to do this on a sliding fee scale. So because of that, most people pay 86% of our clients utilize the sliding fee scale to some extent. So that gap between what it costs us to hold a session and what a client pays, there's a gap there, and that's what the development department fills in. Anyway, but it's worked really well for us. And we have people who pay the $125, which is our top fee, down to $25, which is the lowest on the scale. So they're fully in the gamut. And so we're proud to the way our model works.
Talk about the different types of services, because you have very specialized, but also when you look at very holistic and broad opportunities to get plugged in. So talk about some of the different kind of specializations and focus areas for the services.
Sure. Well, we offer mental health services, and in that we have some certain modalities that are offered also on the sliding fee scale, which we have PCIT, which is parent-child interactive therapy. We have EMDR, which is for trauma, and Nuerofeedback. We offer trauma services. We offer all of them on our sliding fee scale, many more to add to that list.
Yeah, and I know that you look at men's emotions and kind of that specialization and groups. You have a lot of different opportunities to plug in. Yeah, so talk about some of those groups.
Sure. Currently, we have 3 groups going on. And like you mentioned, one is the Men Emotions group. We also have another group for becoming a leader that people want to follow, which is really a good one. And Pike Williams does both of them, who is our director of leadership. And then we also currently have Finding Community in Chronic Illness and Pain. But we offer grief groups off and on. So if you go to our website, you can see all the groups being offered, but they're the 3 that we have out there currently.
How do those groups work in terms of capacity? And you mentioned obviously going to the website to find out more information, but how do those options kind of work out on your end for the groups?
It really depends on the group, how many people will be included. It does max out at a certain number, but it depends where it's being held, how many facilitators we have, and so forth. So again, the website would be able to give you the best information on that.
Share how kind of the floodgates have opened on your end in terms of the need for the services you all provide, because I think the pandemic definitely opened the floodgates on the conversation around the importance of mental health. And I think now as we're out of it, you're seeing this huge need around just getting the support, because there's so much trauma in different areas coming in. And so whether it's suicide and that side or just the grief, I mean, there's a lot of things that people are dealing with. And so talk about kind of what you've seen between the pandemic and now where we are today with the need for your services.
You're absolutely right. And the beauty of that in the heart is that people are talking about it. and they're not as afraid, if you will, or there's the stigma is dropping, which we love that. The conversation's happening in our community. I mean, you hear it often, and everything that you stated was correct. Suicides are up. Kids are having a really hard time. And we have seen our wait list since the pandemic get up as high, over 200 people on our wait list. Currently, it's down a little bit, which is wonderful. But you are absolutely right. And the beauty is that the community's talking about it. So, which means people are coming to us, which is great.
Give us a success story. You don't have to obviously name names, but when you look at individuals coming in and being able to be equipped and empowered and really helped to get them on the right path, give us a success story on your end.
Well, you're right. I can't name any names, but I've seen kids come in, and I mean, you can watch a testimonial. If you go to YouTube, we have several client stories on there where we've had children come in and they've had issues with dealing with anger. There's a little girl on there that talked about anger, and because of the work with her therapist, she learned how to deal with her anger and learn coping skills. And she says she's so much better today, which is so wonderful to hear from a child's mouth that they were helped through therapy.
Touch on that aspect in terms of all ages. And so paint the picture of the different individuals and families that you work with.
Sure. We work from age 4 to 104. So we have child and teen. We actually have a special therapy director who heads up our child and teen area. And we deal with trauma. We deal with anxiety and depression. We have divorce. We have family therapy. We offer, loneliness, whatever anyone presents itself with. And then our intake specialists try and pair them with what their needs are and what our therapist specialty is, which is really sweet. And so we work with them on what their presenting challenges are.
Talk about your team. You mentioned the team, obviously, and the matchmaking on that side. And so give us an idea of specializations, number, talk about your team.
Okay, we have a staff of about 26 to 28 people. It ebbs and flows. And our culture here is extremely strong. Amy is big into culture, so we have a really happy staff. We all work together. As you can imagine, working with a bunch of therapists is wonderful for me because I'm not a therapist, but it's a really happy place to work. And so we have our child and teen group that I talked about. And then we have people who work with, that's our main specific group. We don't have another group that deals with family, child and teen is a family as well. But we have therapists who specialize in neurofeedback. Again, it's offered on a sliding fee scale. We have trained EMDR therapists, which is a trauma modality that's used for trauma. So we don't have another group other than the child and teen to call a group, if you will.
For you, as you mentioned, you're not a therapist, but you're around therapists all day. And so
Absolutely.
What's something that you've learned on your end that you've kind of taken back either personally or professionally, but when you look at kind of your surroundings and being able to take all this in and grow and develop yourself, what's something or some way that you've been enhanced and grown on your end?
Great question. I love working here. There is so much positivity here. If I walk in the door and don't get a compliment, it's surprising. The grace that is found here is incredible. The love and support. We sat in on meetings and people have brought up hard things and everybody is there, and you'll see follow-up emails, and it truly is a unique place to be. And I love it, and I can't say enough about it.
That's awesome. So part of this is you have a capital campaign. And so when you look at a new building and all sorts of amazing opportunities that we'll talk about, give us some perspective on that.
Okay, well, let me go back a little bit. We last year, we served over 4,600 clients in 37,000 sessions in the building we are in. We are maxed out, but we are moving to, hopefully within a little over a year, to a 15,000 square foot property on Long Lane over behind the Ag Center, which we're very excited about. And the difference in this building is going to be, you mentioned earlier, the holistic approach. So it's going to have beautiful counseling offices. It's going to be a lodge-like facility amongst the woods. It's going to be up on the hill behind the Ag Center. Gorgeous, gorgeous property. But what's going to be really different and unique is the holistic part of it. In the back of the center is going to offer fire pits. So you can do healing rituals out there, or a water feature. There's also going to be walking trails where our clients are able to leave the therapist's office and process, if they have time, that therapy session up in the hills, or before. Walk through there before you walk into the counseling session. There's going to be a prayer labyrinth, a prayer chapel, and then a huge patio in the back just to sit and be if you want to be. So I'm finding it, if you want to come in and see the pictures in here, it's absolutely beautiful. Or on YouTube, there's also a flyover video that you can find so you can see the renderings of it.
And I think too, when you're talking about mental health, well-being, being in nature is a piece of that. And so I think, to your point, it just opens up so many more opportunities with how you can leverage the natural environment to be able to process and heal, and for, all the therapy and those opportunities for mental health. I think it's powerful. And so talk about how the community can help, because you have all sorts of opportunities, whether it's events, the capital campaign, just getting plugged in. So how can the community help your efforts?
We do. We have an awesome community here in Franklin and Williamson County. So far for the capital campaign, just this past year, we've raised $1.9 million towards it. And part of that is from two very generous local donors who offered matches for us. So that's been huge. But as far as the community getting involved, you can find out more about our campaign on the website under Building Refuge. But also we do have events. So in the spring, which we just finished, is our Hope Grows event. And that actually helps us keep our sliding fee scale. That goes towards our operating expenses. And then we have coming up in the fall, we have a golf tournament, which is going to take place at West Haven Golf Club on September 25th. That's going to be a really fun event, and that also goes towards our operating costs. But please, if you have folks who would like to come out and want to hit the ball around, it's going to be really fun. But also for the community at large, we have a speaker series. It's called Live Intentionally. And this fall, the theme of it is critical conversations for crucial times. We're going to talk about all different things within the community on first response and suicide and addiction and recovery and so forth. It's going to be a really well-rounded program, but in these crucial times, and how we have so many things that have happened in our area in the last year that have been traumatic, and we're going to address some of those things. So that's a really neat thing too, and that's going to take place at Church of the City.
Touch on the lunches. You have ongoing opportunities for people to come in and literally see everything in action. So talk about the lunches and those connection opportunities.
Sure, thank you. We offer connection lunches the first and third Tuesdays of the month. And that's where our community is welcome to come in and see our offices. They get a tour, and usually Pike Williams, our director of leadership, does the tours, which take about a half hour. And if there's staff doors open, Amy has an open door policy here. If you're not in session, your door is open. You can meet some of our therapists and ask what they do. And then we meet upstairs in our gathering room, which is right outside the door here. And we have a lunch, and everyone gets to introduce themselves and learn about what other community members are doing. We show a client story, so they get a better idea of what a client thinks about Refuge, and then they get to answer questions. It's really a great time. It's truly 1 hour because we want to respect everybody's time. And also our group room gets used at 1 o'clock. As I said, we're in a tight office space here. So I welcome anyone that wants to come learn a little bit more about Refuge and see, taste, and feel what it's like here, because it really is a unique place.
Give us one more thing, because you've touched on obviously the culture and the team. You've touched on the impact and the different programmatic opportunities, obviously the new building and the capital campaign and ways the community can get involved. Give us one more thing that you wish everyone knew about the Refuge Center for Counseling.
That everyone's welcome here. It's a beautiful place. It's very safe, secure. You're greeted by wonderful people. Our waiting rooms are very calming. We actually have two different waiting rooms. We have one that's a little busier and one that's dimly lit, so people can actually come in and take a deep breath before they come here, before they go into their session. But it's really unique, and it's some place you have to see to believe, honestly. I've been in counseling offices myself, and this place is really different. And it's maybe hard to explain until you see it.
Nice.
It's
Well, the
a
last
home.
question,
It's a home.
yeah, that's a good analogy right there. It's a home.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
last question is the easy one. Where do we go to learn more? So, mention the website, social media. Where do we go to learn more and get plugged in?
Our website is therefugecenter.org, nice and easy. And there's event tabs, there's getting involved tabs, there's all building refuge. You can learn more about our capital campaign. We are on Instagram and Facebook, and it's the Refuge Center for counseling. So come out and follow us. We have a lot going on, and our social media is very active.
Makes it easy. The website again is therefugecenter.org. And so, Patty Eller, thank you for all you and your amazing team do. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.